Let's talk about alignment in human design and my 4 tips for deconditioning. Now, deconditioning is essentially the process where you come back to who you actually are. The idea of human design is that when we were born, we were perfect. We had everything we needed. We knew exactly how to operate in alignment. Everything was great. Then, as we got older, as we, were raised by our family and our friends and institutions and things like that, society, we learned how to override our natural programming. So my coach likes to say that conditioning is when your nature falls victim to your nurture. So who you actually are at the core falls victim to who you have been taught to be in the way you have been taught to show up. So if you are new here, my name is Ebony. I'm a human design reader expert and coach. The process of deconditioning is simply the process of coming back to who you actually are. It's coming back into alignment with your actual design and operating in the way that you were meant to operate before the world told you that you couldn't or it was wrong or you wouldn't make money doing that, blah, blah, blah. So my first tip, and I have notes in case you see me looking over, my first tip is to start with one area at a time. It can be very tempting, and I know this as a manifesting generator with the 3420 channel, it can be very tempting to want to decondition everything all at once. Please do not do this. Human design is a very complex system, and even though you don't need to know everything in order to decondition and live in alignment with your human design, you absolutely do not. Working on one area at a time is extremely helpful because if you try and decondition all of your undefined centers and come into alignment with your defined centers and come into alignment with your channels and your variables and your gates all at once, you're gonna end up burning out, or you're gonna end up making it a job, making it a chore. And the fact of the matter is deconditioning is not a job or a chore. I don't want to say it should. In my experience, it is a lifting. It's a lifting of a weight. It's almost a celebration. It's coming back to yourself. You don't want to make this journey, this beautiful path of coming back to who you are, another full-time job. Personally, for me, I like shit to be fun. I play a lot in my life. That just wouldn't work for me. So my first tip is start with one area at a time. It's not going anywhere, right? You can always come back to your chart. You can always come back to the framework that you've discovered, right? You don't have to do everything all at once. Now, my second tip is to start deconditioning your undefined centers first. I know a lot of people who come into human design, they learn about their energy type first, learn about their strategy and authority, which is fantastic. Your strategy and authority are very important. However, your energy type is built on the backs of your gates and your defined and your centers, right? The gates and your centers are the foundation of your human design, right? For example, you're not a generator or a manifesting generator without a defined sacral center. So to me, the way that I was taught human design, the way that I was taught to coach it and to decondition, you start with the undefined centers first because those are like your foundation. So when you come into alignment with the places where you're meant to surrender, you automatically open up some space where you can start to come into alignment where you're defined. So you can start doing things and taking the actions, right? Because you've created this this fertile land where you now know that you don't need to have all the answers, right? You don't need to try and make everyone feel better, right? You don't need to search for love. You don't need to prove yourself, right? You've realized where you don't need to do anything. Now you can bring in the things that you do want to do, the things that are aligned for you. Bring in your impact, right? And to me, that just makes the whole process a lot smoother. But it's not a hard and fast rule. It's just the way that I personally choose to do it. That's the process that I choose to take my clients through. And my last tip is to cater it to your life. There are so many different ways that you can decondition, so many different ways that you can come into alignment. There is no one way, right? So recently I did a video about connecting with your sacral center. I also did a video about connecting with your throat center. I offered 3 to 4 different ways that you can do both of those things in both of those videos, because there's there's no limit, right? So if you're someone who hates journaling, don't force yourself to journal. That's not, look here. How much sense does it make to find a system that tells you exactly the best way for you to use your energy, the best way for you to show up in the world, and then in order to come into alignment with that framework, you force yourself to do something that you don't want to do? How does that make sense? It doesn't make sense, right? So if you hate journaling, please do not force yourself to journal. If you hate visualizing, hello, please do not force yourself to visualize. If you hate meditation, please do not force yourself to meditate. There's so many different ways that you can decondition, that you can come into alignment with who you truly are. You do not have to do someone else's way. You do not have to do it in a way that you absolutely hate. Because I promise you, there is a way to incorporate the things that you actually like and decondition at the same time. As a matter of fact, I can promise you, regardless of what your energy type is, doing the things that you like is a part of your deconditioning. I can pretty much promise you that 100% of the time. So I do actually have a bonus deconditioning tip for you, and that is to get into your body. I am currently running a program called The Experiment, where we're focusing on deconditioning for the next 3 months. And the breakthroughs that I have had in the last 6 days, just from consciously anchoring down into my body, have been astronomical. I don't care how you do it, right? I don't care. For me, I love to dance. I love breath work. That's like my favorite thing. If you hate breath work, if you hate dance, don't do it. But get into your body somehow. Maybe for you, it's exercise. Maybe for you, it's taking a long walk. Maybe for you, it's sticking your feet in the grass, right? There are a million and one ways you can get out of your head and into your body. Pick one. Pick one and do it every single day. That is one thing I highly recommend for anyone and everyone to do. Now, if you are interested in getting more help around deconditioning and how to decondition your chart, essentially coming back into your human design, I am running a deconditioning masterclass. Now, in this masterclass, we're talking about everything, right? We're talking about deconditioning centers, type, authority, variables, gates, centers, channels. We're talking about all of it. I'm going to talk about what deconditioning is. I'm going to talk about the different types of conditioning that I personally use with my clients, and I'm going to give you a system that you can use to begin to decondition and come into alignment with your human design. So if you are interested in purchasing the masterclass, it will be $27 for the next 48 hours. After 48 hours, the price is going up because this is going to be a really dope masterclass, and I'm thinking it's going to be at least an hour long. So the price is going to go up. It's going to double in 2 days. So if you're interested, now is the time to get on it because it's at the cheapest price that it's ever going to be. So I will put the link for the deconditioning masterclass down below. I will also link my gate series if you have not seen it, and I will see you in the next video.